Welcome, everyone, to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast for Tuesday, March 8th, 2022. That's Ian in his nice rock heart sweatshirt.
It's me.
I'm Pat in my pretty good Spy Hunter shirt. On the show today, we'll be talking about someone being sent to prison over a Pokemon card. That's a fun story. We're talking about an Amico business update that was sent out to everyone. And we'll also be talking about other fun things. First, if you want to listen to my DoorDash woes of the past weekend, you can listen to the exclusive Patreon exclusive podcast we do for the Patreon, patreon.com/CU podcast. Listen to that.
That's right.
That's what I did this weekend. As I got disappointed by DoorDash twice.
Yeah, you did. What did I do this weekend? I watched Escape from New York. I haven't seen that in a while.
Right.
Always a good time.
I haven't seen it all the way through. I've seen parts.
Really? Oh, yeah. Jesus, man. Definitely got to watch that. You are deficit in your Carpenter watching.
You say that. Yeah, it took you years to see Big Trouble in Little China.
That's one movie.
But you're Mr. Carpenter, not me.
I'm just saying, you are severely deficit in your Carpenter watching. That is impressive to me. Depressing. It's impressively depressing to me. So yeah, that's always a good time. Fun to watch that in, we watched it in like Ultra HD. Wasn't quite 4K. It was like the 1920X something or another.
Off of what? It was a digital version?
It was some sort of digital rip, yeah.
You don't see the difference.
No, you do. It's pretty impressive.
Well, how big's your TV?
55 inches.
I mean, you wouldn't see the difference between that and the regular HD. Or Super HD, I mean, 4K.
All I'm saying is it makes a movie like that look interesting because you see more than you probably should be seeing.
Sure. You can see Kurt Russell's sweat glands.
I also went and played a little pinball by myself yesterday. Went to the Dino Bar, which is attached to Aero Club, and played the new.
Where the hell's that?
It's on India Street.
Oh, okay.
Played the new, because they've got like 10 machines there.
You never talked about this place. The Dino Club?
Dino Club. Yeah, DYNO.
Is it
next to the Dino Bar next to the Aero Club? No, they're not restaurants.
Dino Bar.
It's just one big bar that has two
Dino
names.
Bar.
It used to be the Aero Club, which was a whiskey bar. Then they expanded on it into the adjacent building called the Dino Bar, which is where they put the pinball machines and the pool and stuff.
Does it have like a purple brontosaurus sort of a?
No, DYNO, not DINO, not Dino.
So there's 10 machines though.
Not Dino Bar. Yeah, there's 10 machines. Anyways, the Godzilla machine. It's a fucking hoot and a holler.
Is it a new one?
Yeah.
Stern?
Newish. Stern. Very good. Loved it dearly.
It's very stern.
Very stern.
It's very formal and uptight.
Yes.
That's not what stern means.
So, yeah, that was my weekend. I'm going to shout out now. This is a weird intro. You're not talking about your weekend because you've only talked because you talked
My
about
whole weekend was DoorDash woes.
That
was the whole weekend.
Was waiting for food and being disappointed.
Yes.
My friends over at Necrosoft Games, along with content from 732 other creators, have put out a bundle for Ukrainian aid on itch.io. You can go there. We'll put the link here. It has raised, Jesus, the number keeps jumping every time I check it. They have raised $1,302,472.36 in, I'm not even sure this has been up for 24 hours at this point.
The first I heard about it. So you get 991 games.
It's various, so there's games, asset packs for developers, print and play RPGs. It's just loaded.
Everything.
It's loaded with stuff.
And a minimum of $10 is all they ask.
Minimum of $10.
So it's practically, I mean, it's like free. I mean,
it's insane.
That's what a great deal.
Yep.
And then it goes towards the International Medical Corps, provides medical assistance in the region.
They have very low fundraising overhead, 1% of income, with 89% of donations going to medical aid and 10% to administration. And then Voices of Children, a Ukrainian organization that helps children cope with the horrors of war, PTSD, readjusting to school, and getting back to being kids. They've been doing grassroots impromptu work during the war, such as setting up shelters. And they hope that'll be over soon. They can begin the work of healing these kids' hearts. I have a lot of faith in the people behind this bundle to have done excellent research on their where the money is going. And yeah, I made my donation last night.
All right, I'll get on that. I'll get on that. let me just say, I mean, the Ukrainian people, the courage, they're undergoing so much right now. They're fighting back this juggernaut, this bully juggernaut, and the Russians didn't think that they would have this much resistance. And it's really been nice to not nice that it's a war, but nice that everyone has come together. At least there's not been fucking both sidings of this conflict. That's been nice to see that. Except for like the propaganda, like some of the far rights that are funded by the Russians directly. Not to get into that, things like that. But like, it's been nice to see a united front when it comes to this conflict. So that's been nice there. So yeah, check out that bundle. I'll get in on it after the podcast.
And honestly, I mean, the games hardly matter at this point, but because of what you're supporting, but they have come together and put together a really nice package. Like some of these games are really within like the past 6 months to a year too. Skatebird is new, usually costs like $20. Crosscode was highly lauded last year as a excellent top-down Zelda clone. That's on here.
Celeste's on here.
And Zero Ranger, which is a few years old, but Zero Ranger is easily the best top-down shooter I've played in probably 5 years, and it's got to be $15 on its own anyways. So
yeah,
throw in $10.
So you
can't hurt.
They're all just doing good and basically giving their games. They're giving games away for nothing.
Yep.
And all their assets, like I said, there's asset packs and other things on here.
There's so much cool stuff you can find in here. There's like little magazines with like mini D&D encounters you can have for like second level characters, like all sorts of ways to keep yourself occupied. This reminds me similarly of the Black Lives Matter bundle that raised a ton of money about 2 years ago, and you can entertain yourself forever in this. So don't want to dwell on it any longer.
All right. Well, we also have to thank Evercade for sending us the VS, the home console.
And it is a gorgeous little system, too. Just wanted to, like, if you haven't seen one yet, look
how cute it is.
Yeah, they are tiny and cute.
There's a little cartridge slots. Let's see. Can you hold it up a little bit more?
2 cartridge slots if I can get it out. Sorry.
Don't break the console live, Ian.
I'm so bad at this. There we go.
Let me see this here. Nice and clean.
Yeah.
And there's the 2 cartridge slots at the front here. Little clicky power button you got going on here. You got the USBs. It's adorable. It's adorable. That's all the people ask for with actual physical media.
Actual physical media.
With a game software on the media and a manual. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be able to play it at home. It's easy to set up and use. And I mean, honestly, it's just like the handheld. I didn't think I was going to end up using the handheld a lot, but these little collections of games are a lot of fun to pop in and explore. And there's always something you haven't played on there.
I think it's fun that they put in the 2 slots. There, because then it's like if it's the Atari pack or ones, it'll be one menu.
Load up both.
Yep. That's just, they didn't have to do something like that. It's just a smart thing to do that. Then also, pal Audi sent us I've known him for years, but he sent us the Wrestling with Pixels book.
I will not lie. I rolled up a fat one and specifically to dive into that over the weekend.
So this is
so
chronological history of every wrestling game.
It's
up to I think it's like fall 2020.
It's great. It has like everything in there. It's just so much fun to go through. I mean, all the way back to the Atari ones. I remember my buddy Lincoln actually gave me an Atari Tag Team Wrestling cartridge, and I don't have an Atari.
That's the first one. The first wrestling game is Tag Team Wrestling.
No, a different wrestling on the Atari. And first time I ever saw what it actually looked like was in this book because I don't have an Atari to play it on.
But according to this, Tag Team Wrestling in the arcade was the first ever wrestling game in '83.
Good old menu selection.
And then the one I always forever saw in the store and always forgot what it was, Boppin' Wrestling on the PC. Boppin' Wrestle, excuse me. Used to see that in the store, and it haunted me for years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I literally haunted me for years. I'm like, what was that game with the big, almost Gorgeous George looking guy with the big curly hair and the red one? I used to see that at Egghead Software, it must have been, or yeah, I think it was Egghead. It wasn't an electronic boutique, and I used to see it at the top shelf. I'm like, that looks really cool, and I love wrestling. And back in what was it, '85? There was almost no wrestling game, so it's like, oh my god, And I rediscovered that, and I bought it. It was one of those album cover ones. But yeah, check it out. He was nice enough to send us also a winner is you, little
Yeah.
And then it's also even a little handheld section in the back as well, and unreleased games. So check that out right there.
It's a super fun raid.
Epic Games. Epic Games. They're not busy with the new Unreal, but they're busy buying Bandcamp.
Yeah,
the independent music site.
Yep, and
Not so much independent anymore.
no, not independent anymore. And so the internet basically lost its independent music store. I did not get a chance to look into this one, like the actual like nitty gritty as much. I have a feeling that Epic knows that if they change anything, it won't necessarily be good on the outside. They're going to have to keep the place running, I think, it's going to have to keep running business as usual. And I hope they keep the Bandcamp Fridays thing going, because that really helped a lot of artists throughout the pandemic, where I think it's usually one Friday a month or one Friday every 2 months. They give 100% of all sales to the artists, so there's no fees or anything like that. So a lot of artists have cleaned up. A lot of people wait for Bandcamp Friday to make sure that they can give all the money to the artists they want to support. So I have a feeling things like that are going to, I hope. They have to continue, otherwise people are going to, they're going to end up with a dead platform. Either they have to continue to make it usable and by people who are already using it, or they're just going to go find something else.
That's what Epic basically said. You'll still have the same control over how you offer your music. Bandcamp Fridays will continue as planned, and the daily will keep highlighting the diverse, amazing music on the site. However, behind the scenes, we're working with Epic to expand internationally and push development forward across Bandcamp, from basics like our album pages, mobile apps, merch tools, payment system, and search and discovery features to newer initiatives like our vinyl pressing and live streaming services. So you have a huge infusion of cash. And then Epic's like, well, we can make money doing this. Like, why not? So yeah, like you said, like as long as it continues the same, and maybe Epic brings in new features, then everyone wins, hopefully. Because Epic doesn't know anything about music, but they do know about, obviously interfaces and platforms and publishing things internationally. Like they can help it out, I guess. I don't know anything about Bandcamp.
I feel like Bandcamp probably was doing just fine on its own. I mean, Bandcamp has been the stalwart for years.
But they like the money.
No, they like the money. There's nothing else here. It's not going to benefit Bandcamp in any way. I don't think it's going to negatively impact the user experience for a lot of people on Bandcamp. I really hope that genuinely and truly
nothing happens. You think, oh no, they're going to pump in money to make more money. Epic, absolutely will. I would think.
We'll see.
They have so much money to play with. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have made this. This is not their core business, obviously. Right. You make that Unreal game anytime you want. Just saying. Anytime.
Speaking of first-person shooters,
and speaking of Ukraine
and Ukraine, there is a new Doom 2 level made by John Romero in support of Ukraine. John Romero hasn't made a Doom 2 level, it says here, since the game came out in 1994. But this one, titled One Humanity, is for the PC versions of the game only, meaning it hasn't been pushed to like the... it's been pretty good. Like, the Switch versions, the console ports of the Doom games have been pretty good about getting like the new updates. I'm wondering if this might get to it eventually. Anyways, for £5, they're about $6.67 USD. 100% of the proceeds will go directly to the cause. And you can buy it at John Romero's official website.
And it's a WAD file.
Yep.
The good old WADs, and you load that stuff up. Is there an easy interface? If you play like the Steam version, is there like a drop-in thing for that, or do you have to still go through the command box?
Yeah, probably you'd probably just download the WAD, and I would assume something like. I'm so behind on Doom, so I always reference an older one, but I'm sure something like Z-Doom, you could just load it up. There's all sorts of ways to play WAD files.
There's a user interface. Yeah. It's just command line like it used to be back in the Stone Age.
Right, no, there's got to be a way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a program you could open up and just open a WAD file like a document. And just play
like an emulator. You click on, you open it. That makes sense. Like back in the day, we used to do the command line to fucking the Alien versus Predator one. You probably play that as well. That was one of the.
Oh yeah, it was like the big one.
Yeah.
I definitely want to play this though. I mean, it's not a secret that Doom, specifically Doom 2, is one of my favorite games of all time. Love it to death.
It has that weird look to it. Over.
Anyway, so yeah, I would like to check this out, and you should too.
Guy was sent to prison for buying a Pokemon card. It's a little more complicated than that, but this is from a Polygon article from Nicole Carpenter. Man sentenced to 3 years in federal prison over Pokemon card. A $57,000 Charizard is now government property. Georgia man was sentenced to 3 years in prison after using COVID-19 relief money to purchase a rare Charizard Pokemon card.
I think we heard about this story early on, but now this is like this is his comeuppance.
Yes,
okay,
he was sentenced. So the Department of Justice released the sentencings in a news release issued Monday. 31-year-old Vinath Udamseen was awarded an economic injury disaster loan that's different than a PPP loan, by the way, for $85,000 after claiming to own a small business that supported 10 employees. These loans were created as part of Congress's pandemic relief plan and intended to be used for businesses to pay workers and rent. Once he got the money, the Department of Justice said he used $57,789 of it to buy a Charizard card.
Jesus Christ.
A card matching this description, a first edition shadowless and holographic Charizard card with a 9.5 Gem Mint rating, was sold at the PWCC marketplace for that price in late December. So I'm guessing that the government, once they give you these loans, are allowed to look at your books to make sure that, I'm guessing that's part of the conditions.
Yeah,
which
probably.
Makes sense. And they must have said like, hey, that's a weird outgoing thing to this auction house of $57,000. And the probably laughs they had at the DOJ looking at some lower level employee like tracking this. Oh, they bought a Pokemon card. Okay, we're going to get the charges against this person now. U.S. District Court Judge Dudley Bowen ordered Udamseen to pay $10,000 on top of the $85,000 in restitution and 3 years in prison. And will have 3 years of supervised release after the 3 years in prison. He agreed to turn over the card to prosecutors. So now the government has a Charizard card that I guess they put these up for government auction at some point. You always see commercials like government auctions of confiscated from drug dealers like boats and houses and cars. There'll be a Pokemon card eventually at one of these auctions, which I think is hysterical.
That is.
Government owns a Pokemon.
You know what the government doesn't own, Pat?
What do they not
The government does not own UltimateNintendo.com, where you can go and get stuff. Do it, Pat. What do we can get?
After that stellar transition, you can
get Twitch on Wednesday night. You can click the join button next to subscribe.
No, then you're screwing up my money. And, you got the certain NES Super Nintendo guidebooks. You got the enamel pins. You got the RBI baseball stickers, and now you can't see it, it's too high up. You have the Yoshi combat print limited to 22 produced. They're on the site, signed by Yoshi, the CG artist who worked on Star Wars, Walking Dead, Mandalorian, works on everything. He's a genius, and he did Major Combat in that video. And all proceeds go to my pal Yoshi. I don't see a cent of that at ultimatenintendo.com as a way to pay back my pal Yoshi on that right there. And yes, I'm on Twitch Wednesday nights.
Twitch.
You click the join button or what you said?
I was just reading the highlighted stuff, man.
Oh, God, Ian, you're the worst.
Click the join button next to subscribe.
Oh, God, I never read those stuff. Unreleased N64 game.
Yeah, Carnival Senzo's Adventure. You want to tell me a little bit about that one?
Forest of Illusion tweeted, today we have quite a special one. We've released Carnival Senzo's Adventure, a canceled N64 title developed by Terrorglyph Interactive Studios. It was based on the animated film by the same name. I don't remember the film.
Yeah, neither do I. This is the first time hearing of that.
And it was first shown off to the public at E3 '99 in an unfinished state. A great video was put out by Tony from Hard for Games. It already has a ton of views.
Welcome back to the Hard for Games channel.
That's him. 14,000 views. And this is cool because I knew about this a couple months in the making because Tony is writing the unreleased N64 game section for an upcoming certain N64 guidebook.
Ho, ho. So
it was fun because during the process, there was a couple of games that he knew about that were like, okay, this one's going to be dumped. We're trying to get it. So this is going to be just explained in that section of the book. And watch this video. It's 20 minutes. Tony goes through the game, talks about it, and the history of it. And yeah, Tony's a good dude.
Good Tony. Good Tony.
And Gabe's been good lately as well.
Yes.
Gabe from Valve.
So Gabe has been in the news a bit lately. He's been around. He's been up front.
He's been around and up front?
He's been around and up front since the release of the Steam Deck. He's a public figure,
he's making the rounds.
He's making the rounds. He was even hand delivering some of them.
Really?
Yeah, he was hand delivering some of
Like
them
a fucking Domino's commercial?
in
He
like
was going
the
up to door?
Seattle area or wherever they're based. Yeah, he was walking around hand delivering some of these.
Okay.
Imagine another certain CEO doing that with a certain...
No, I don't, because it doesn't exist.
Anyway, he's been in the news more, and I believe we talked a little bit last week about how Valve stated that 50% of all of their Bitcoin transactions were fraudulent when they had Bitcoin, and they've already banned cryptocurrency games from the storefront. Newell had more words to say, basically said that the volatility of cryptocurrency makes it impossible to be something that you could, price things with on a store, because you're paying 99 cents one day for something that's going to fluctuate to $4.98 the next day.
Yeah, it's not currency anymore.
Right.
It has to be somewhat consistent.
Crazy. And he said the people who are currently active in the space are not usually good actors, as we've seen and discussed on here many times, looking at all the problems that have been going on. I also like that he also tackles the whole, this is not new aspect. This is just reinventing the wheel for a lot of it. One of the big things that they talk about in the metaverse is customizable avatars and stuff like that. And he says, apparently, no one who thinks this is impressive has ever heard of or played an MMO, because all you're trying to do with the metaverse is create an MMO that has no action or fun in it. I mean, that's literally all you're doing. And in terms of customizable avatars, he even points that out. You go into Final Fantasy 14 and, look around. Everyone looks different. There's entire marketplaces dedicated to, the clothing and dyeing the clothes and getting, custom outfits. And so... yeah, I mean, he seems like a pretty sharp guy. Definitely not in NFT's corner. Doesn't look like Valve will be dealing with NFTs in any way anytime soon. I'd point out, Gabe's looking healthy lately.
I was going to say, he's got the similar style to you. He has the same black rimmed glasses. He's got the same long hair. I'm looking back and forth. Like, that could be you in like 20 years.
Yeah, maybe. That's fine. It's fine.
He seems happy.
I'll take it.
Happy and fine. I'm sorry, I was thrown off here. I have to, on the podcast, issue an official reprimand on the podcast. I'm sorry to embarrass you. It seemed like during the podcast...
Oh, I'm not embarrassed.
You
called
me out on Twitter.
I did. I did call you out
while
on
we
Twitter.
were recording, it seems like.
Yeah.
Can't believe Pat has never put honey on fried chicken.
I can't.
Referencing the exclusive...
that's right.
Patreon podcast, patreon.com/CU podcast, and trying to ether me via food shaming on Twitter.
Not trying to ether, just wanted to see what the general take on the situation was.
Yeah,
there are some people defending you.
Okay, I'm going to the defense. Let's see. Our pal Tom said, "Ever been to churches? They give you honey packets. Put that shit on the chicken and the buns." Someone said, "I have not either." That was Jim. What about hot sauce? I mean, it's not exactly ketchup on a burger. Thank you, Jumpin' Jack Doritos, for that. So you're right. There's some people back me up. That's a thing. I 1000% can, and this is from an app. So Ian is starting to get ratioed a little bit. Ian is starting to get... So go ratio Ian on that tweet from 10:25
That other
a.m.
one is, I can 1000% believe that you have never had... That's because that's weird, man. You're weird.
Okay. Oh, I'm weird now.
You're weird.
I'm weird for lots of reasons, not because of that, Ian.